All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 668 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And I want to tell you guys right now, man, the Atlanta Falcons looked really good in those uniforms last week. This past Sunday, I mean, those uniforms, the red helmet need to be standard. Them other uniforms aren't bad, but these uniforms, they need to be standard. Desmond Ridder and everybody looks so good in those uniforms. I really don't want to see them in the other ones, but another story for another day. Nevertheless, today we're going to talk about the trenches. We're going to talk about the O-line and D-line because Aiden Hutchinson, we're going up against a guy who can get at the quarterback. Everybody else is pretty much a wash. I think Tom Gardner Johnson, I think that's his name, he's out for the season. So, I mean, not to say that, it's the end of the world, but that's one less person you have to worry about when it comes to, a players, a safety. So the passing game should be there, but it all starts in the trenches. So we're going to talk about the trenches, what we need to do to get the ball going against the Lions. Excuse me. Because this is our first road game, and I think we have some advantages here. But Jared Goff, once again, the defensive side, the trenches, we're going to have to talk about that because they have a good offensive line. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I am also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. You guys can check out the podcast at any of those avenues, and surely will appreciate it if you subscribe and become a listener to any of those avenues. I really, really would appreciate it. Also, I can be found on X at VF Baller. People starting to follow me on X. That's pretty cool. And over there, I put things up that don't really make it to the show, but it's really potent to the Atlanta Falcons and Georgia Southern. And the website is firstandframerates.com. You can go over there and help build the channel up or build the podcast up by subscribing over there, or you can donate and help build the show as well. All right, let's just go ahead and get into this. The trenches is going to be very important because Aiden Hutchinson is coming into town, and that defensive line is going to be ready to get at the Desmond Ridder. They saw what they saw with the Green Bay Packers, I'm pretty much sure, and they're going to try to get Desmond Ridder out of a rhythm. Doesn't sound too hot based on how things were going throughout the entire game, but if Desmond Ridder comes in playing like he did in the fourth quarter, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, this kid could throw for 300 yards, but they're gonna still try to get to Desmond Ridder. They're gonna try to get to Bijan Robinson. They're gonna try to stop the running attack. I think Cordell Patterson is coming back. We'll talk about the injuries report before we're done with the show, but the trenches mean a lot. It is something that needs to be on our side. We need to find a way to get this offensive line to be pushing those guys around. And also our defensive line, our front seven needs to get at Jared Goff because this guy, I don't think he's thrown an interception in the past 200-300. I don't know. It was X amount of attempts, but it's absolutely amazing how efficient he's been in the past, few seasons. Very, very underrated quarterback, and he knows what to do to get things going. So those are the things that we're going to have to deal with. I think that our offensive line is going to be okay. I mean, I think our offensive line did okay for the most part, especially in the second half. The second half, everything just clicked in the second half. Kind of similar to how it was with the Panthers game. So if we keep this game close, I mean, even if we're down by 12, if we keep the game close, we have a really good chance. And I think that the way that this team is set up, we should be able to make things happen. I mean, I want to see more Caden Ellis, some more Adamaya. I want to see some Grady Jarrett get at Jared Goff, make things uncomfortable for him because they got some young receivers who can catch the ball. And if the ball don't even come their way, just make the defensive secondary job much more easier. And speaking of that, Jared Goff is going to try to throw the ball on us a lot. He's going to do. I mean, that's just the way it is. I think Jamar Gibbs is their running back as well. Another good guy that they can run the ball with. And so they're going to probably try to do some play action. So hopefully, I don't know if this is going to be the case, if Jeff Okudah comes back on the other side where AJ Terrell is, it's going to be a pretty good looking day for us. But we have to make things happen in the trenches. We can't let them guys get too comfortable. See, this is the thing. We let Jordan Love get comfortable and we saw what happened. Jordan Love, even though it wasn't really big plays, most of the big plays was off of like pass interferences, but they got chunks of yards in the passing game when Jordan Love got comfortable. And when he got comfortable, it was like it was nothing we could do, and they marched downfield. You can't do that with Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a better quarterback, and he will light us up, and is going to try to get us in somewhat of a shooting match or a shootout. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't want the Falcons to be in a shootout. I want us to be ground pound, play action, get the ball to our playmakers in a methodical way. And there's no way we need to be in a shootout. Not to say Desmond Ridder can't do it, but we've seen what he's done so far, and I don't want him to be put in that situation so early. So I want to keep it very simple where we can limit the big plays and run the ball when we have the ball, get some tight window passes where we can complete them, and just move the ball. I think, like I said, the last 4 possessions we had, there were scores. We'd like to see them be touchdowns, but if we can move the ball like that, that is where things are going to happen. And I'll be honest with you, it's going to be really tough for us to just move the ball methodically. When you got guys who like a big hammer, like not Cordell Patterson, but Tyler Algier. When you got Cordell Patterson who could do both, be a hammer and he can run fast. You got Bijan Robinson that, I mean, that guy can go even. He could be Barry Sanders one day, the one run, and he could be, damn near Emmitt Smith the next. Like, that dude is like, it's like you got a wild card with Bijan, even though that Cordell Patterson is listed as a joker. But when you have those type of guys, it's very hard to say that we're going to methodically move the ball, because those guys can run for 6, 7, 8, 10, 13 yards every handoff. So the thing is, we just need to be efficient. When we look at our offensive line, when we can drop back the pass, we got to find a way to double up, or hopefully, I think it is Jake Matthews is going to be on that left side, right? And hopefully he can handle Aiden Hutchinson, because Aiden Hutchinson doesn't have a sack yet this year, but I know he's itching for one, and he knows what the Falcons can do. They saw what the Falcons can do when they come back and beat the Packers. He probably doesn't want them to get a chance to do that, so he's going to be out there trying to disrupt some things. A couple other guys on that defensive line is going to try as well. Their secondary is a little banged up, so I suspect us to have some matchup issues. They're going to have some matchup issues against us, and that bodes very well for this team, because the weapons that we got, to be honest with you, we got we got Drake London, we got Kyle Pitts, and we got Scotty Miller. But I don't think they have an answer for Mac Hollins. I don't think that they will have an answer for Mac Hollins, and it's kind of similar to what you saw with the Packers game, where everybody. I firmly believe that Kyle Pitts was targeted so much by the defense, he was covered so much, they was not able to get him the ball. But that's what Mac Hollins was there for, to make things happen, because you can't cover everybody. And I think that's what, in my opinion, I feel like that's what happened. And once again, Mac Hollins is probably going to be the X factor for this game. Like, they're not going to have an answer for him. Maybe they will, because they saw some tape this week, but they're just going to open up something for Kyle Pitts. I mean, it's just going to be a matchup nightmare for that secondary. That's why it's going to be a big emphasis on the Lions to try to get pressure on Desmond Ridder. This is why the offensive line trenches will be key. This is why it needs to be, these guys need to do very well at pass blocking. They're not the best at pass blocking. Damn good at run blocking. But that pass blocking has to do something real quick. Now, I think you got Bergeron right next to Jake Matthews, which is a really good thing, because Matt Bergeron has been playing lights out as a rookie. I mean, he is totally the opposite of what Jalen Mayfield was his rookie year. And he's done a very good job, and I love every bit of it. And once you get that going, give Desmond Ridder some time, even if he has to roll out, which I think he plays his best when he's rolling out and he's moving around, good things will happen. Last but not least, I want to talk about the defensive line. With the defensive line we got, I know they got Penei Sewell, I think that's his name, that they drafted, big offensive lineman that the Lions have, and they got some other guys on there that's pretty decent. We need to get some disguised blitzes and stunts to get at Jared Goff. Jared Goff cannot stand back there and throw the ball. If that's the case, it's going to be a long day for this team, because Jared Goff, contrary to popular belief, is actually a pretty good quarterback. You know what I mean? He's been playing pretty good for the past year or so. And the Rams, I think it's a fair trade for both. that they both got a pretty good deal when they traded the two quarterbacks. Jared Goff is actually, is pretty efficient, and he made that team a lot better than what they were, especially last year. I mean, they were dangerously good. I mean, they should have been in the playoffs, but if we can get Jared, Ellis, Ademeyer, we can get Epic Kente. We need to get those guys going at Jared Goff. Make him a little rattled. You make him a little rattled. Jared Goff, don't get me wrong, he's been playing very good, but he is susceptible to throw some interceptions. I want to see the Jared Goff from the Rams show back up, because that one was a little bit more easier to stomach, and that particular player can cost you football games. And that's why I want to see him, because Jared Goff now is going to be a little bit tougher. But I think our front seven will be able to do so. We got some guys. That's one of the reasons why we got a lot of these guys from Bud Dupree on down, Calais Campbell on down, but we haven't seen much. Hopefully we get to see some of that in this game, because if we do that, it's going to be in a hostile environment. But if we do that, we can silence that crowd really quickly. So if you like this, comment, the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think about the trenches. Do you think it's key? I think it's absolutely important. Get the ball in our playmakers' hands. Let Desmond Ridder get some time. Also, let's get the guys on defense. Get at the quarterback. I did say I was going to talk about the injuries. Not much to really report on the Falcons end. Everybody pretty much practiced. Jeff Okudah even practiced. Troy Anderson was a full participant. So it looked like everybody's good. Even Cordell Patterson, he wasn't listed on the report, but he played. He was full participant for last week, but just inactive. So we'll see how that goes as well. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Check out the podcast avenues, and also I am on X at VFBaller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. You can go over there and support in various ways. I really, really would appreciate it. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.